Hello everybody and welcome back. We are deep in the heart of the show floor. We are with Cayosoft. I am with Bob and well, we're having an orangey good time over here.
Man, orange is the new black. Oh no, sorry, that's a TV show, I guess.
It's a good show though.
It's a good show, yeah.
It's a good show. And so we're here at Ignite. I'm here for the Microsoft stuff and obviously to meet with all these different people doing awesome things. What brings you guys to Ignite?
So this is the first year we've been. We're a fairly small startup. We decided that this was the sort of our coming of age party, and we have a large set of customers who said to us last year, "Where were you?" We said we weren't big enough. This year we're big enough, so we're here.
Gotcha. And so, talk to us about your customers. Talk about your product. What do you guys do? What do people come and buy from you?
Yeah. So we most of our customers are enterprise customers. So they're the larger, government agencies, a lot of larger commercial customers, those types of folks, a lot of educational institutions, universities. And what we sell them is a solution that helps them manage their hybrid Microsoft environment. So they have their old on-premise technology, Active Directory, Exchange, Link server, Skype.
Yep.
Now they have the cloud. And when you have those two environments which are typically disconnected, it can be a little bit of a challenge to manage it all. And oftentimes it prevents them from adopting it because they get to a point where all the old processes, the help desk people, the IT guys doing the day-to-day stuff, suddenly they're confronted with all sorts of little, maybe shortcomings of the interfaces. So we create one abstracted layer that presents all sides. They can manage just like they did 3 or 4 years ago, but now they're actually managing both on-premise and hybrid at the same time. Or sorry, hybrid, on-premise and cloud at the same time.
Gotcha. So you're talking about the hybrid environments where people are moving about. And so where does your product is an abstraction layer that makes it all easier to move about. Right. And so how does that work with, because there's so many complexities in that type of environment. Not only do you have compliance issues, but you have security issues, you have data integrity issues. And so how do you deal with all that?
Yeah, so the idea is the core system is a automation engine and a policy enforcement engine. So when a user goes to make a change, we understand where the object is that they're going to change, whether it's on-premise or in cloud. They don't have to. And then we use roles to control which objects they can see and what tasks they can perform. And once they go to perform a task, the action they're trying to complete is submitted to our service, where we then also check a bunch of rules to make sure they're following the rules. So not only do we control what they can see and do, but then we make sure they did it correctly, and then we go off and actually, in our tool, perform the action on their behalf. Now, that also gives us a very clean audit trail. Yeah. So any of those compliance issues now sort of evaporate because they don't have native permissions in the interface to go out and do things that they shouldn't, and we control exactly how everything's done. So, and we audit it all in the back end.
Yeah, I was going to say the auditing sounds like almost a complete time saver in itself because, well, as much as we would not like to have to deal with it, auditing is a part of everything you got. Just not only just compliance, but regulatory if you're a public company and all that. And you get those IT audits, you can't avoid them. They happen every quarter for most people.
Right.
And so sometimes the big dogs come in and then you got a big one. And so when does a company think about approaching you? Is that when they're deploying, after they've deployed, before they deploy?
So it really is at all states. So sometimes people understand up front as they're looking at moving to Office and going to hybrid, they start seeing issues based on their experience that might trigger them to start looking around for a solution like ours. So they'll hit the internet, do a search. Sometimes during the process they're doing migration, they start managing a couple mailboxes, then they realize, hey, this is going to be a little bit more work than we expected. And we've actually had some customers who actually migrated and had to stop their migration into the cloud because they had a volume of support calls or whatever they couldn't manage. They'll bring us in, and then we'll let them streamline the operations and provide that missing layer, and then they can continue with their migration. So it really is all phases, pretty much all parts of that journey that people are taking.
Yeah, migration's a big topic right now because while Microsoft and Amazon and all those guys would love to tell you that everybody's running cloud, everybody's all in, the reality is that the majority of spend is still on premises. And granted, hybrid scenarios are very, very common these days, especially with Office 365. And so I can totally see how a company just kind of runs into there, Microsoft tells them it's easy, and then they get into the woods and they realize they don't have a map.
Right, right. Yeah, so we've been doing this about 20 years. Each of us has roughly 20 years experience in this space. Built management tools for Active Directory with another company. Through acquisitions and changes, we went and formed this company. And the first thing we decided was that we needed to be able to have our product sort of self-configure, so you can manage the traditional on-premise stack, you can manage the hybrid stack, and we expect some of our customers will eventually fully move to cloud, and so you can actually turn off Active Directory on-premise, turn off Exchange on-premise, turn off hybrid, and now suddenly we're just managing Office 365 and Azure.
Gotcha. I mean, simplicity is the name of the game when it comes to overhead, right? Because it's one of those things, it's hard to pitch to management. It's like, hey, we're going to go to a hybrid solution, and then you come back 6 weeks later, it's like, oh, I need a 30% increase in budget for doing this.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work.
We actually had one of our customers come back to us and say, we know we're saving with your tool because we have automation, workbooks and stuff in the background. And they asked us to actually put an ROI tool into our product. And so we actually have an ROI dashboard. So every time somebody uses self-service, it saves a little bit of time and money. Anytime some administrator performs a task, we do 10 automations behind the scene. Or if they go to full automation for provisioning or some other security operation, we know how much time we save them, and it shows up in the dashboard. And that was a customer request. Everything we do is based on our customers' requests.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so where are you guys founded?
Columbus, Ohio. Great place to be from. Sorry, Columbus peeps.
So I'm from Cincinnati.
Ah, very good.
I'm hoping that you're a Buckeyes fan.
I am a Buckeyes fan, yeah.
This is fantastic. So
if the Browns ever win again, I'll be a Browns fan again. Yeah, sorry.
They beat the Jets, so we're doing
First time, a long time.
It's a lot of things first time for the Browns, right?
Exactly.
They did the most Brown things ever, and they came out and tied their first game. But I'm a Bengals fan myself. But very, very cool. If people want to learn more, where can they find you at?
Cayosoft.com.
Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Learning more about Cayosoft. We appreciate your time. And you can always find out more at Cayosoft or Petri.com. Catch you next time.